The Peony Lantern. Once upon a time, in the city of Kyoto, there lived a man named Shinojo Ajiwara on Gojo Kayagaku Street. After losing his young wife, Shinojo felt unbearably lonely and spent his days reading sutras and composing poems, rarely leaving his house. One night, on the 15th of July, as the night grew late and the streets emptied, a beautiful woman around 20 years old passed by, accompanied by a girl of about 10. The girl was carrying a lantern shaped like a peony flower. Shinojo was captivated by the woman's beauty and thought, could this be a celestial maiden descended to earth? He rushed out of his house and approached her. The woman, sensing his presence, spoke, "Even on a moonlit night, the road home is frightening. Could you kindly escort us?" "Of course, but if you don't mind, please stay at my house for the night. There is no need to be shy." "Come, this way," Shinojo said, taking her hand and leading her back to his home. As Shinojo composed a poem, the woman responded with an equally exquisite one, filling Shinojo with joy. Not only is she beautiful, but she is also educated. Truly wonderful, he thought. They became so engrossed in their conversation that they lost track of time, and before they knew it, the eastern sky began to brighten. "There are prying eyes during the day, so I must leave now," the woman said, hastily departing. Yet, every night thereafter, the woman returned with the girl carrying the peony lantern. Shinojo eagerly awaited her visits each evening, and 20 days passed in this manner. An elderly neighbor, curious about the nightly visits, decided to investigate. "Shinojo is supposed to live alone, but I hear a young woman's voice every night. Something is not right," he thought. That night, he peered through a crack in the wall and saw Shinojo sitting across from a skeleton, illuminated by the lantern's light. The skeleton moved its hands and arms, nodding in response to Shinojo's words, and even spoke from its mouth. The next morning, the elderly neighbor confronted Shinojo. "Who is this woman visiting you every night?" Shinojo hesitated but eventually recounted the entire story. The woman said she lives near Monju Temple. "Then go and investigate," the old man advised. Shinojo searched the area near the temple but found no one who knew the woman. As dusk fell, he entered the temple grounds and noticed a neglected shrine. Upon closer inspection, he found a coffin with an inscription indicating it belonged to a deceased young woman. Next to the coffin was a child's doll and a lantern shaped like a peony flower. This must be it. The girl was actually this doll, Shinojo realized, feeling a chill. He rushed home but was too frightened to stay there alone, so he spent the night at the old man's house. The next day, following the old man's advice, Shinojo visited a Shujensha mountain ascetic at Toji Temple and explained his predicament. The Shujensha said, "You are being drained of your life force by a ghost. If this continues, you will not survive 10 more days." He gave Shinojo a protective talisman to place on his door, and from that night on, the woman and the girl never appeared again. 50 days later, Shinojo visited Toji Temple to give thanks for his safety. That evening, despite being accompanied by a servant, he couldn't resist the urge to see the woman again and headed to Monju Temple. Upon arriving, the woman appeared and said, "You promised to meet me every night, but you changed your mind and even sought help from a Shujensha. I was so lonely. But now you are here, and I am overjoyed. Please, come with me. I am sorry for causing you pain." "I don't care what you are, I will never leave you again," Shinojo replied, taking her hand as she led him away. The servant, terrified, ran back to alert the neighbors. Everyone hurried to the temple's northern cemetery and found Shinojo inside the coffin, lying on top of the skeleton, dead and looking aged and withered, yet with a smile on his face. The temple, feeling uneasy, relocated the shrine. Rumors spread that on rainy nights, Shinojo and the woman, along with the girl holding the peony lantern, could be seen wandering the streets of Kyoto. Those who saw them often fell gravely ill. Despite the efforts of Shinojo's relatives to provide proper memorial services, it took a long time for his restless spirit to find peace.